Hello, everybody. This is Alex from We Should Probably Be Working podcast.
I'm Michael. What's up?
All right, guys. So what we do here is the first 30 minutes is all about tech. After that, we get off the rails. Sometimes it goes a little longer than 30 minutes. We'll see how it goes today. All right. So the first topic today is iPhone 13.
iPhone 13, yeah.
The 13th iPhone. So we're going to be talking about leaks, and we're going to be talking about the models that came out. To start off, what do you think about like the new design? For example, the thing that struck out to me the most was the diagonal lenses. Like, why do you think they would be doing that, speculation-wise?
The diagonal lens? Oh, you mean on the back of the phone, right?
Yeah, because that's like that's probably their biggest change. Like, I don't even think it's speculation at this point. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out as diagonal.
Okay. Well, did they release an image along with it, or is it only rumor at this point?
These are leaks.
Because every time I look up at an article, they show a picture of like what they think it'll look like.
Yeah, these are leaks and rumors, but I don't know. Marquez Brownlee covered it, so usually like I don't think it's like gonna be off. I don't think it's gonna be super far off from these leaks.
Okay. Well, I mean, with the diagonal lens, I imagine they'll still have like with the square, but you mean like the cameras are in a diagonal fashion, right?
The cameras are now in a diagonal position.
Okay. I mean, I'd really be interested in seeing how they're going to explain that, because the last time I remember when they were announcing like the iPhone XS, I mean, they were going into super like extreme detail of how their image processing works. So, and then that was when it was like one camera on top of the other or right next to the other, not in the diagonal format. So maybe it's like a depth thing. I don't know.
All right, put your tinfoil hat on, bro.
Okay.
Because I think that they only do these like weird camera looks just so the customer can flex on people. No, but like they'll always have like a sort of a reasoning behind it. They'll always like say it's for this or that. But in my opinion, it's so everybody knows you have the iPhone 13.
Yeah, they have this thing at Apple. They call this reality distortion, and it's something they openly talk about. But reality distortion is basically like, with Apple, they focus a lot on the quality, and I like the quality of their stuff, but they definitely try to create this image to pretty much simply to justify the price that they charge for their devices. Okay. But it goes into that.
Look, I've thought this for a long time now, because they can't keep making these things like these products too similar, because nobody's gonna know that you bought the newest one.
Right, it's gonna look too similar to the old ones.
You can't, like, from their business point of view, there needs to be a clear way to differentiate every model, so everybody knows. Like, okay, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but like they want people shaming other people and being like, "What? You have last year's model?" Like, like the horizontal camera. Like, oh no, I'm sorry, vertical camera. Like, come on, dude, you got to get the diagonal cameras. Like, are you are you broke or something, or what? Like, are you having money issues?
Pretty much, no. That lines up, because I mean, no, we've had people come in who like pay like a huge amount of money for just the latest phone, but that's all they want.
Yeah, I know, and it's like it doesn't even matter. They want to flex. Like, I remember specifically when the 3 cameras came out. That's when I started putting my tinfoil hat on, because I'm like, yeah, sure, the 3 cameras, like, technically it does more, but like that's a huge way to signal to your friends and people, like, yeah, 3 cameras means it's the latest model.
Yeah, and each one has its own like little stylistic change from each model. I mean, the 7 and the 8 were mostly this. It's the small things, like the 8 went from a metal back to a glass back.
Yeah.
And from the
but
11 to the 12,
remember that when the 8 came out, the iPhone X came out at the same time. And what was the iPhone X? The iPhone X, The iPhone X was like the most radical change in the iPhone like lineup.
Right, and that would have lined up with basically with it coming out at the same time. It's kind of this, like you said, this flexing move.
Yeah, and it's the most. It was the most at that time. It was the most expensive iPhone. I remember everybody was making jokes about it because they're like $1,000 phones. Like that's never gonna catch on. But it was a flex.
And it caught on.
And it caught on.
I remember, yeah, people at the time were like, "Oh, there's no home button on this thing," but that's the direction that everyone else has gone, the no home button direction.
Yes. Okay, so now that actually transitions well into the next topic, which is so there's the speculation that the notch is going to get smaller, and finally,
Smaller but not taken away.
Yeah, I know, right? No, and finally, finally they're going to try and compete with other phone companies. That they're taking off the notch, or which I don't know. What do you think?
You mean like because Samsung is getting rid of a notch that they're or LG or whoever?
Samsung's been getting rid of the notch.
I mean, the notch was cute.
Been getting rid of it.
The notch was cute in the beginning, but
it's ugly now, bro.
It's funny. Even when the notch was out for like maybe less than a year, Samsung they had this great advertising campaign called the Genius Bar or Samsung Geniuses.
Okay.
And it was basically parodying the Apple Genius Bar. And
it was?
yeah. Oh, well, you should see this. It's on YouTube. It's hilarious.
Okay,
but basically, this guy goes in and, it's like, where can I put my SD card in my Apple phone? And it's supposed to be they're mocking an Apple store, and the guy's like, oh yeah, and we don't have that. And the customer's like, well, doesn't the Samsung have that? He's like, yeah, it does. It can do everything that ours phone doesn't. And one of the things is the notch. It's like, okay, can I get rid of the notch? No, it's just there.
No, I know, and it's like these are expensive fucking phones, and that notch is huge.
Yeah,
and it's ugly.
It is. It is just like it does get in the way of video.
So what's the next thing that they're expecting? We're looking into maybe bringing back Touch ID is a theory.
That would be cool. You mean on the front or the back of the phone?
Supposedly the front. They want that the whole speculation is that they're going to do it the same as Samsung, but it's one of those things where it's wishful thinking. I don't think it's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes into that whole will Apple just copy Samsung thing, or
they're not the type to copy Samsung. They want to be industry leaders. They're not going to be following on a lot of things. I know they've followed before, but
because the whole movement that they had was to move away from Touch ID and go to Face ID.
Exactly.
To their credit, the Face ID is really good.
Would that be admitting their faults if they go back to the Touch ID? Would they be officially admitting Touch ID is better than Face ID?
Well, I don't know. I mean, because they're still making phones with the home button because they have the iPhone SE, the 2020 version, and that is basically an iPhone 8, and they're even still making the iPhone 8s. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have this bifurcation where they'll split. That's the word of the day, bifurcation. Where they split into the more traditional iPhone 6 to iPhone 8 style phone, and then they go off with the flagship phone. So maybe they'll do something kind of like where Samsung has, their Samsung, their Galaxy series, but they also have the lower budget Samsung A20, A50, A70. That kind of split off. Maybe they'll do something similar with that.
Well, I think actually, I believe the leaks include that theory, which is there's going to be 4 phones, like usual. It's going to be the Mini, the Pro Max, and just the regular one. So I don't think they're going to make another line. It should just be the 4 usual ones. The usual. Well, actually, there was a speculation before that they were dropping the iPhone Mini because it had really bad phone sales last year.
Oh, really?
So
no kidding.
Yeah, it had the worst iPhone sales.
That's so funny because I would always hear nonstop how people wish the iPhones could be smaller.
Yeah, I know, and it didn't land with anybody. I think the issue is that I think if the Mini had those Pro features, I think people would be into it. But I just think the fact that it's it's a distinction without a difference, I guess. From the regular iPhone. What were we on last year? 12. The Mini and the 12 it was just smaller, and like that was it. Like that's all you got from it. And I think people would want more from such a like unique device.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because other than the fact that it was small, I mean, the only other difference is that it I guess because the 12 has its own like non-rounded edge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's pretty much just an entirely flat
Mm-hmm.
design style.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know, I see what you mean.
All right, so the next. Oh, go ahead. Did you have to finish it?
No, I was going to say, or maybe you were going to mention this, the rumored lack of a charge port.
Yeah, I was about to get into that.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, do you think that MagSafe is the best way to do it?
MagSafe?
Yeah, you think like MagSafe is the one that's going to replace the charge port. You think Apple is ready for that next step?
What is the MagSafe?
MagSafe is on the iPhone 12, the wireless charging part, the one that charges wirelessly on the back of the iPhone 12, is magnetic.
Oh, I totally forgot that's what it's called. Yeah. Right, because it actually has a magnetic, like a circular magnetic, not seal, but it aligns. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what's up.
I do. I just didn't know the name. I'm a terrible technician, everybody. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Do you think that it's good enough to replace the charge port? Like, I don't think so. I think the charge port's necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet, but it is an Apple move to just kill it, you know?
Well, I mean, my first thought is it going to allow for anything comparable to fast charging?
That's the thing too, right? So, I think the MagSafe, the max they got it up to was 15 watts.
Okay.
I was listening to it on Marquez Brownlee's thing. And on the regular charging cable, they could get it up to like 25 watts. So it's definitely not. It can't beat the cable.
Yeah, because I mean, Samsung's big thing obviously is that they have fast charging and the not just fast charging, but it's direct charging they call it. Mm-hmm. But it's basically ultra fast charging.
Really? Oh shit! I haven't fucked with a Samsung in so long.
Yeah, man. I mean, like it's really becoming like a night and day scenario.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was working on Samsung phones or iPhones, you'd plug it in. If the battery is dead, it takes maybe like 5 or 10 minutes at least.
Yeah.
With Samsung, it's pretty fast, and then once it turns on, I mean, it charges like in 15 minutes. You could have it at I don't know, like 40% or something.
I've definitely seen the reviews of like the newer Samsungs, and that's always what the reviewer is talking about. Like, look how fast it charges. It charges crazy fast.
Yeah, Samsung is like always good at making like really pointing out the really good features. Apple's more about the whole experience. Samsung really seems to focus on like the best camera, the fastest battery, the biggest battery. They're
always about the specs, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. And to their credit, they do some really great stuff sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's what we got on the iPhone 13 and the speculation. Next thing we're going to talk about is... So, The Verge is reporting 10 million consoles have been sold of the PS5.
Good for them. Good for you, Sony. Congratulations.
I know, right?
I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. How long has the PS5 been out so far? It's...
like almost a year, right?
Yeah.
They're super hard to get just because of scalpers and stuff, and that was an interesting phenomenon that I was looking into, like just people like buying bots and buying them out, then flipping them. At first,
flipping itself is a huge industry. I mean, with shoes and
everything.
Yeah. I mean, that might just be kind of like a sign of the economy right now, just with supply constraints. I mean, if the price of everything is pushed up, why not do that?
So yeah, it's such a weird thing to think about. Like, how did people know that this PS4, like the PS5, was going to be so crazy that it was going to sell out everywhere? Oh, maybe it's just because of COVID. You know, they just assume everybody has a lot of time to game.
There's that. There's also a ton of YouTube videos about people who flip stuff, whether it's shoes, tech, and they do exactly what you're talking about. They'll use bots to buy stuff out, and then they'll flip it and sell it. Yeah. But people do want it. Like, I was working yesterday. Okay, yeah. So this guy actually drove 2.5 or 3 hours just to come by and pick up a PlayStation, which he ended up paying more for than if he had just bought it on Amazon and waited maybe like, I don't know, like a week or something. And he was willing to pay the markup.
So what's going on? Are they selling them on Amazon or are they sold out?
I don't know. I checked Amazon and it looks like they are. But you know, the Amazon ratings were like 1 star or 3 stars or 5 stars. So I think some of them are just fake.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, people want this stuff. I mean, like you're saying about Apple. I mean, I don't know if it's a status symbol, but you know, to say to your friends that they have the PlayStation 5, I'm sure some people make a really big deal out of it.
I guess. Yeah. I'm not a gamer, so I'm like, if somebody tells me, yeah, my buddy was like, maybe it is, because my buddy was like, oh look, I have the PS5 and I have the Xbox. What's the new one?
Xbox One X.
Yeah, he's had both of them in his garage, and I was like, okay, it's cool, but I mean, I'm not a gamer, so I wasn't really impressed.
Yeah,
I was like,
well,
right.
I mean, don't sell yourself short. I see that you got a Nintendo Wii over there.
Yeah, hardcore.
No, but you got Smash. You got the quality games.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, are there any games that are for the PlayStation 5 that are like blockbuster games right now?
I'm sure there is, bro. I just don't play.
Probably. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really.
What's that game, Destiny, that everybody loves?
Destiny. Yeah.
All right, gamers are gonna kill us, bro. We gotta move on.
All right. What's Destiny? Is that like an MMO or something?
All right. So they're on pace to sell more than the PS4. According to Wiki, the PS4 sold 5 to 10 million in the first year.
Okay.
And yeah, the PS5 already beat the record. And so I got curious. I was like, the PS2 was the most influential game in my life, or console in my life, so I had to look back and check what were their sales. Their lifetime sales were only 30 million. That's the entire lifetime.
Really?
And in the first year, they only sold 1 million.
Wow, because that's so strange, because if I look back on it, it seemed like the PlayStation 2 is like this revolutionary thing that everyone wanted and had.
In my opinion, it literally felt like the PS2, everyone had it.
Yeah.
It literally felt like everyone had it.
Maybe it was just the people that we were hanging out with, but yeah, at the time, yeah, it seemed like the only console that you would want.
Yep. So, that was interesting.
That's crazy.
So next thing is one of your topics. You could go off on this.
Which one is this one?
Power regulations cut off select Dell PC from certain states.
Yeah, so this is interesting. California has pretty much put restrictions on the power consumption of high-end or high-powered gaming PCs. But to me, this just seemed like a lot of... Not to sound like not an anarchist or anything like that.
Like a libertarian.
Libertarian, there we go.
Okay.
I couldn't think of the word. But yeah, just government being government, I guess, because I did the math. They said that...
And this is an article from The Verge. I remember reading it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I looked up a couple articles to get the numbers right, but basically they're basing this on 2016 power consumption. Mm-hmm. And so computer gaming in general took up what they calculated to be 4 terawatt hours in 2016.
Okay.
That's a lot of energy, but only 30% of that were gaming PCs. The rest was actually just consoles.
Right. Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah. So 30% of that was just the gaming PCs. Mm-hmm. And I was looking further into it. The amount of power that the residential sector takes up is like it's like 30% of all power in California, and California as a whole, I think, consumes something like, or the residential sector takes up like 110 terawatts of power a year.
I mean, it's definitely an overreach. It's ridiculous. And we're in Southern California, so it's hot out here. Everybody's blasting the AC all summer. Everybody's doing all kinds of like power heavy things. Totally. I don't see the issue with a freaking gaming computer. Like,
Yeah,
Come on.
I did the math, and it's something like point zero. And I could be wrong, but 0.0038% of all power is taken up by these high-end gaming PCs.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous, man. Like,
so I mean,
with
I guess
all the waste that goes in everywhere, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, they force us in California. They're like, oh, you have to ask for a straw now, or there's paper straws, and we're like, why? Because it like for some reason it saves turtles, and we're like, bro, have you looked around? Like this whole city is shit. Like we're in a pile of shit.
There's literal shit. Oh yeah. Whenever I'm like where I live, if you just go down the road, all around you'll see basically like homeless tents, and like they throw their trash everywhere. It piles up, and it's fucking nuts.
Dude, we have a homeless epidemic here. We have all kinds of like just like horrible things that we do to the environment to begin with, like
yeah, this is just
all the fracking we do, all this oil drilling we do.
Yeah, California.
But you're talking
like
about my
oil.
straw.
Oh my god! Yeah,
you're talking about my straw.
It's the small little things, right? I mean, yeah, it's just someone was like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of these wasteful. No one needs video games. We can just get rid of that. Let's just look. We did something great. We changed California a little bit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I personally don't do a lot of video gaming, but I'm always looking into. I want to mine Bitcoin. Like I've been wanting to mine it for a long time. I told you.
Oh, forget about doing it here. Move to Texas, apparently.
No, I know. Apparently, we're gonna have to move just to mine Bitcoin. But I don't care. I'll find another. Like I guess it's only on Dell, or what's going on?
No. As far as I'm concerned, it's also going to affect like Alienware as well.
Okay, but like video cards, like Nvidia, like can we still get those here?
It's really about power consumption. So I mean,
it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the specifics of like certain hardware, if certain components have been actually like banned or not.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just like one brand, because that's what the title of the article said. It's like Dell. I'm like, just one brand is going to get banned?
I'm sure initially they were probably targeting just like the whole assembled computer itself.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that could bleed into like the actual components, like whatever motherboard that they're using. But yeah, it just seems like a stupid waste of bureaucracy.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So the last tech topic we have here is we're going to react to this viral tweet, and I'll post it up on the video. It got over 15,000 retweets, so it seems popular. It says, removal of the headphone jack is the worst trend in consumer electronics in recent history. Hot take.
Hot take? Good observation, my dude. You nailed it.
All right, so you're there. Yeah, I mean, it just depends where exactly are they removing the headphone jack. Because, like, in iPhones, I think it worked out. It worked out for the better.
Honestly, yeah, it is more convenient for me to use a Bluetooth headset. I mean, I'm starting to hear how Bluetooth headsets aren't healthy and that it, like, affects your brain.
Really? You heard that?
Yeah, but this is more from, like, like, holistic health people.
Okay. I was like, wait, are you serious?
No, this isn't, like, Dr. Gundra from Stanford Medical.
Okay. Yeah, because I see what they mean, like how it gets annoying, and I know my wife actually, it was so embarrassing. Like she would buy like real headphones from the store, and I'd be like, "Are you serious? Like we're in 2021, you're buying real?" Because she used to have the iPhone. No, she used to have the Samsung S9 Plus, so that still had a headphone jack. Oh, okay. She just recently upgraded, and now she has the I don't know, what's the new S20 Ultra or something? S21 Ultra.
Yeah, S21 Ultra. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got that one. And
does that not have a headphone jack?
It doesn't have it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have it anymore. So that was like a big upgrade for her, and it's a beautiful phone and everything. But yeah, I don't think it would need a headphone jack, in my opinion.
No, because I mean, yeah, Samsung and Apple are both pushing the wireless headset.
Yeah, they both make a shit ton of money from the fucking wireless headset. So why would they go any other way, right?
True. I mean, yeah, like now you kind of almost, well, basically it forces you to go with them instead of like buying a cheap set at, I don't know, Target or like of earbuds, you know?
Yeah, and I do actually see the issue, and I see where they're coming from in this tweet, because there has been times where I'm like, fuck, I forgot to charge my earphones. I'm going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really fucking wish I could just stop by a I don't know, 99-cent store or a Target or something and just pick up a set of headphones and plug it in and let's go, you know?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I kind of wonder if Apple's kind of going in the same direction with their removal of a charge port, allegedly.
Allegedly.
If it happens. But yeah, I mean, like, out of all the worst trends, I mean, the one that annoys me the most is definitely that notch thing. But
what, you don't like the notch being so big on the iPhone or what?
Yeah, on all the phones, really. I mean, like, I know on Samsung it's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, because on Samsung they really worked on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think from a functional perspective, the removal of the headphone jack is probably the most, like, kind of like the biggest shock to the system.
Yeah, I think so. It was the hardest transition for sure. Especially because, like, when the best replacement for the removed headphone jack is like a $150 headphone, which was the AirPods back then, you know? It was like that kind of sucks.
Not for the people who, like, use it as status symbols. They
I know.
don't care.
It was the flex back then, too.
It was. I mean, it still kind of is, but I mean, now it's
now it's common.
Yeah, now that all the other brands have their version of the AirPods, yeah.
A lot of competition in that area, but Apple still was able to succeed. They were still able to do great there.
Pretty much.
One of their best-selling items. I think it outsold the iPhone, actually.
The AirPods?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it did. I got to double-check that.
It's so funny. Those things don't even look comfortable to me.
Yeah. You don't have any? You don't have a pair?
I don't have AirPods, but I have...
you have something.
But like I have like a form-fitting one.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm sure there's better ones out there. I think people just go with brand loyalty.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like with anything having to do with...
Maybe people just don't feel like discomfort when they have something that they think is cool.
For sure.
I don't know. We're getting into human psychology here.
I know. The ones that I actually was looking into buying was the waterproof ones. Because if you look online, there's certain companies that make Bluetooth headphones waterproof. And that's what I was interested in, but I never ended up buying them.
I just know there's someone who's going to go swimming with those. He's going to be
that's what I'm saying. That's why, because I'm a swimmer. So that's why I wanted them, is to go swim.
Could you even hear, like, as you're swimming?
Then that was the question. I was like, I wonder if they were any good. I wonder if they worked.
Yeah, because I mean, with the sloshing of the waves, that'd be my, like, it'd be cool to listen to a podcast.
I'll buy it eventually, and I'll post a video about it on the channel.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know how it goes.
That'd be cool. I'd like a waterproof phone.
Waterproof phone? Well,
that'd be great.
The Samsungs are pretty waterproof, though, no?
They are. I mean, I think they have IP68.
Yeah, my wife used to drive me crazy because she literally gets in the shower with it.
Oh, she does that?
Yeah.
Ooh, that makes me so mad. As a technician,
I know,
dude,
right?
I would get these idiots who, like, this is like, we get people who were like, I just I got some dust on this, so I decided to run my phone under the water and scrub it off with a sponge. Treating it like a dish.
Yeah, treating it like a dish.
And it's like, okay, cool. Hey, great job, man. Hey, did you put it in the dishwasher too?
No, I had one guy.
Try doing it.
One guy came in yesterday or 2 days. Yeah, yesterday. He goes like this. He tells me, "Oh, it just randomly stopped working," and I'm like, "Okay." I take it. I open it up, bro. It literally, it was one of those scenes out of a movie where you, like, open a door and, like, a big wave hits the guy in the face, you know? Like, that's what it felt like opening his phone, bro. He had, like, a puddle of water inside, and I'm like, bruh, like, you're telling me it just stopped working.
Yeah, it's like, this is something about the repair industry people, is that people, when they come in, they're simultaneously, like, ashamed and embarrassed sometimes about...
They're also angry.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
For some reason.
Yeah,
like,
they're embarrassed for what they did.
Sir, I just met you.
Yeah, they take it out on us, and they're like, I don't know, this piece of shit sucks. It's like, okay, did you do anything? No, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Okay, well, it's literally soaking wet. Like, oh yeah, I don't know. I wasn't in, like, the shower or the ocean or anything. I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people manage to get their phones water damaged in the rain by holding it in the rain for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, I think I've seen less water damaged Samsung phones than iPhones.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen it in practice, and they are waterproof for sure. iPhones are definitely not.
Yeah, Samsungs use a lot of adhesive.
A shit ton.
Yeah.
literally when we're opening them up, like it takes forever to heat up the back forever. Get a good some sharp tool underneath.
And on the big ones, they use a shit ton of adhesive.
I
I mean, it's like probably I'd say maybe like half of the surface area of the back glass has adhesive on it. So I mean, they take it seriously for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, okay. So that concludes our tech section of the podcast. It was awesome being with you guys, but we still have more podcasts to do.
We absolutely do.
Now we get into some more fun, random stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first thing we're going to talk about is the drug culture of the '80s in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I just want to let you guys know how I came up with this topic. So I don't know what happened. I think I was talking with you over the phone or text or something, and something you said reminded me of this one time. I was working at a different store in the greater Los Angeles area. I'll paint the picture here.
Okay.
And so when I was working at this store, for whatever reason, we would get the most insane, batshit crazy people come in. And these are like, characters out of a movie. And so this guy comes in. He's like, he seems like a relic from the 80s, okay? So he's got...
a gold chain or what?
I think he did. Like a tank top, like a neon tank top, shades. If you can imagine like an out-of-shape Hulk Hogan,
Okay.
who's like, I guess, smaller, but with the style of the 80s.
Right.
He comes in and he's just like, whoa, okay, yo, yeah, I need to fix my phone. I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. And, you and I see characters all the time. So
We
like,
do.
It's kind of like, it doesn't throw us off so much, but... so we just treat them normally, like, okay, yeah, no worries, I can fix this for you. And sometimes customers like to rant or tell a story, and so
Yes.
he starts telling me like, yeah, man, oh, oof, yeah, I got this phone. I like to plug it in my car, my '76 Thunderbird or whatever. Yeah, I used to drive it around the '80s. Oh man, back in those days, like the drug culture was insane. And apparently, this guy.
You know how they say like people peak in high school or college? Like this dude peaked in the '80s.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he probably would have been in high school or college back then.
Okay.
But yeah, he was telling me like he told me one time he either sold coke or helped transport it, made something like $10,000, and he was telling me about this. He had a friend who. Because his friend was a drug dealer, whenever he got pulled over by cops, what his friend did was where the stick shift was, he would hollow out the the compartment between the driver's seat and the passenger seat,
Okay.
and covered it up, but basically cut a hole straight through the car.
Okay.
So if he ever got pulled over, all he had to do was just open up this little hatch, take whatever drug he had, dump it there, and close it up, and he'd be like, yeah, officer, I don't know, I don't have any drugs in here, you can search my car. And so they'd search his car, but they wouldn't look underneath the car, because more often than not, apparently...
So he didn't ditch the drugs? He would hide them in a separate compartment in the car?
well, no, this is
Because
actually...
I thought if it was a hole that goes all the way through the car...
No, it was a hole straight through the car, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, on the top, he just covered it up with, like, plastic or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Basically like a cap.
Oh, I got you. So you're saying he also had to hide the hole, too?
He had he had to hide the hole.
Okay.
And so after the cop was done searching him and the cop took off, he would just, grab the drugs and bring them back in the car.
Oh, go turn around and find them?
Yeah, turn around and find them, or reach underneath his car, I guess. But that'd probably look suspicious. So he probably did what you were saying.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, and apparently, like, I was looking into... Apparently, LA was just, like, a totally different place back then.
Yeah, actually, I was going to get into that. I did a bunch of research. I love modern American history. Unfortunately, like, the stuff I'm going to talk about is, like, a lot darker and more sad than that fun anecdote that you heard about. So let's take a look. So, yeah, it seems like crack and cocaine were the main culprits in LA that were really, like, destroying... honestly, like black and brown communities.
Yeah, that's what I read into too.
Yeah, through all of Los Angeles. But obviously, the crack and cocaine, it hit like all of America, mostly black communities.
Yeah.
And like we had all these like songs. Like currently, I guess we have songs in pop culture that dramatize and glorify like the gang culture from the '80s, like Narcos or whatever, like pop or rap music that you hear about. So from the research I was doing, just watching the old like news clippings from like online, it was like mainly the gangs that were called like Bloods and Crips, that were like also known as like organized crime in LA, which were the main ones selling it and dealing it to people, right?
Yeah.
And I was also just reading old news clips that described like South Central LA at that time in the 80s as a war zone. They were literally like people in these old news these old news videos describing LA. It was South Central LA specifically a war zone. So so I looked into it, and according to the LA Almanac, the per capita violence in the 80s was 1,181 violent crimes per 100,000. So I wanted to make that reference just to show how much violent crime has dropped off since then, and how much progress we've made since then. So that was 85, I believe. And just to compare it to the statistics of 2015, it actually went all the way down. It was cut in more than half. 496 violent crimes per 100,000, so per capita.
Wow.
Incredible numbers. Violence cut in half. The reason behind it is like super highly speculative, but it like correlates with like abortion, which is crazy.
Really?
The legalization of abortion was the 1970s. 80s was like a giant crime wave. 90s was a giant crime wave. But once the theoretical babies that were never born into like bad households would have been coming up into their adulthood or been the most like crime, most likely to commit crime, that's when our numbers started going down. Do you see that? You see the correlation?
Okay, so you're saying basically as like during the periods where there would have been a number of people coming into that age, are they more likely to commit crime? They didn't, or because
they were never born.
Okay, yeah.
Because in theory, abortion is for people who don't have the funds to take care of a baby or aren't prepared to take care of a baby.
Sure.
There's also competing theories, right? That's one of them.
It'd be like an oddly socially responsible outcome. I've never even heard anything like that.
You never heard that theory?
Is that a theory? It's a theory?
It's a very, because it literally correlates perfectly with the crime statistics.
That's insane. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Because, we had giant crime waves in the 80s and the 90s, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Then other theory is just, like, tougher policing. Because of how bad things got in the 80s and 90s, the theory was that more police on the street, tougher regulations, more tough on crime.
Because I mean, the war on drugs pretty much started with Reagan.
Yes. So the theory is that we put a lot of the criminals in jail. I don't buy that.
Well, here's another thing to include into that, and I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for this part, is the CIA's involvement in the drug operations from Latin America to North America. Specifically that it's been, I haven't looked a whole lot into this, but simultaneously allegedly proven, but also proven that they are, it's been proven. I mean, they whether it's official or rogue elements of the CIA, they were allowing and even assisting in the movement of drugs to fund their own operations around the world.
I've heard that before.
So I wonder if that may also correlate with, in kind of almost an economic way of, if the CIA just stopped. Because
right.
I mean,
if the CIA stopped helping
if the supply came, if there were supply constraints and it just became harder to get the drug, I mean, then they would have it would have changed, and then there would have been new drugs and then new people and that. Yeah.
So going back to what the original topic, which was crack cocaine. Apparently, crack cocaine was known at the time as the most addictive drug to ever hit the streets. So And I wonder, another competing theory is the education about drugs.
Okay.
And like how well educated everybody is, and how everybody knows how horrible the effects of crack cocaine can be on a society, on a human, on an individual. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Sure. I mean, hey, I'll say it. I mean, like, I think those anti-drug, PSAs, or those, guest speakers they'd bring into high school, probably helped to some degree. I mean, like, personally, I would never want to try heroin. I've had people tell me it's great.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and it's like people I never would have expected to have done it. I'll be like, wait, really? You don't look like the guy who would try heroin. But, they'd be like, yeah, man, it was literally the best thing I ever felt.
Yeah. And then, well, like, you get into other crazier theories, right? Yeah, because there is a theory that the CIA actually distributed crack into black communities to destroy them, which is a really fucked up theory, but I wouldn't put it past a government only 20 years after segregation ended, right?
Right, and on top of that, I mean, the CIA, they probably won't say this, but their mission is essentially to topple dictators and ruin other governments and societies so that our corporations and our way, can basically survive and thrive.
Yeah, and thrive.
I mean, yeah, they destroy economies, they destroy people's lives, and that's also something I thought about. But they never seem to expect any blowback. Because always,
right, they don't think like that far ahead. I guess
the term blowback came due to CIA operations because the blowback of what they did was just so terrible that it was like, I don't know. It's pretty much like they don't have any foresight. So I kind of wonder if they're just stupid or if they are that maniacally insane. But it's not like they couldn't be that maniacally insane, because they definitely do maniacally insane things.
But yeah, to go back to the earlier point, I did bring out those statistics. And I did mention they were from the LA Almanac, so anybody listening can double check. I did want to make the point that, like, LA is so much safer now. It's not what it was in the 80s and 90s. Like, there's areas where you can just walk down the street and you don't have to assume you're going to be robbed. Like, as long as you're there in the daytime.
Yeah, I never hear anything about like gang violence. I hear stuff about homeless people, but that's about it.
Like, it's still around because you're never going to get rid of it fully. But just looking at the statistics, it's been cut in half, and it keeps going down every year.
Yeah, I kind of wonder why. I mean, are people just like over it? I mean, obviously not entirely.
Yeah, I guess the answer is never going to be like clear as day. But like I said, it does correlate to abortion, so.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the next thing we have. Oh no. The next thing we have is the early lockdown stories.
Right.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
So we're gonna reminisce about like when the lockdowns first started, like what we were thinking, what we were doing.
Because basically, with the new variant coming out, this year's model. That we're all. I don't want to say it because
we're updating.
I got the 2.0 model coming out.
Nice.
They say there's not going to be any lockdowns, but other countries are doing it, and it's basically.
Which other countries locked down?
Well, they're enacting stricter measures.
Yeah, stricter measures.
I think Germany, France, Italy, basically European countries.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking, well, is this going to happen again? And are people going to react the same? Because when this first started, I mean, in LA, it was really weird. It was almost like Mad Max. If you've ever seen that movie.
It was, though.
People were dressing up in the weirdest ways. A lot of bandanas because no one had masks. There was no industry really for that. There was no demand for it.
I still remember it was, that's a given. But I still remember being at work, reading the news article with my friends, and we're all glued to not the TV, but we're glued to our phones, just looking up news articles, and we were like, oh, this just came out 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, whatever, and the title was like, Gavin Newsom announces curfew.
Oh, that was
curfew and announces lockdowns, and no one knew what the definition was of those two things. We literally thought, like, police were gonna like show up and tell us go home.
That's what. Yeah, I know. I thought it was going to get to the point because one of my coworkers had like a friend in the army or something, and they were like saying like, guys, the National Guard might be deployed, might be locked down, and so I was thinking like, oh my god, there's going to be like lines with armed guards to like Safeway or Vaughn's, and it was a scary time.
Yeah, I remember literally I told a customer because I couldn't help myself. I was at work and I told the customer like, they just announced a curfew. The curfew's in like I was literally, I think the store closed at 10. It was like 9:30, and the curfew said that it was 10 or something like that, right?
Right.
And I told the customer, and the customer was like, "Oh, are you serious?" Like they were like, "Oh shit!" Like I gotta get home.
I know. Yeah, because at the time we thought this disease was going to be like, like going to wipe people out.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounded like. That, and then I was so pissed off because the day that Donald Trump announced the national emergency was the same day I was going to go see an improv show.
That sucks.
And guess who the host was?
Who?
Eric Andre.
Oh, that's sick.
I know. Yeah. I was so fucking pumped because I knew we were probably going to go into some sort of lockdown, but I was like, it'll probably happen in a few days. Now it happened the same day, and they canceled the show, and I was like, fuck.
Wow, the thing. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Imagine having plans that day. That really sucks.
Yeah, I did. It was great. It was fun. It was fantastic. No, but leading up to that, it was because like in the end of 2019, you heard like, oh, there's this disease in Asia.
Yes.
We're not sure what's going on. And then like, oh, is it showing up in other places? And like,
I literally remember going, I had to buy some stuff in downtown from one of my buddies, and they would get me stuff from China, just like whatever kind of junk I needed.
Yeah.
And they literally told me, they're like, we haven't been able to get anything for a month. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because of COVID. And I was like, oh, it sucks. But, like, literally, it didn't enter my brain that, like, that disease could get to us.
Right, well,
I was just, like, in my head, I was like, oh, that sucks.
I know, you think it's just going to be, like, a regionally contained thing. And, because when it started, like, slowly hitting the States, and this isn't, I think, maybe, like, December or January, I went out with some friends. It's, like, the bar scene where I was living at the time, because I had just moved and I was like, I want to check out the bars, I want to see what it's like.
For sure.
And it was totally dead. It was just like a few people out.
Wait up, when?
This is like
COVID.
This is
right
before COVID. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's starting to get really eerie.
Like eerily dead.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was creepy, man.
I went out. I went out on a Friday, and I think they announced it like on a Sunday. I don't remember the exact day, but like I remember I went out that last weekend, but they let us go out. Yeah.
Leading up to that, I was like slowly like starting to like buy a little more food and put it away and get a little bit of water.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I suspected something was going to happen. It was more just I was paranoid. But
that's true. I see what you mean, but I'm still the type of guy where I was literally going to work. And I was like telling people, I was like, bruh, I don't care. I am not scared of this thing. I just started telling people, like, we still have to make money. Like, we still have to work.
Right.
I literally thought it was going to be one of those things that, like, the government, they talked about it. They told you to be careful, but I didn't think it was going to be a full lockdown. I did not think that.
Yeah. For whatever reason, there was a lot of rumors spreading, and people were getting slowly paranoid, and then when it first hit, it was so quiet everywhere you went. It was great because driving to work, no traffic. For like a solid month.
Remember that? No traffic in LA?
People, if you have not like driven on LA freeways when there's no traffic, you have no idea. Like,
that was amazing.
Oh
Eerie.
My god, man.
Creepy,
yes, but so lovely of a drive.
Yes.
But at one point, like, I was walking around. If you walked around during the day where I was in LA, people were really terrified of it. So even if you had a mask on, even if you were 6 feet away, they would cross the street to stay away from you.
I know, and that was the thing back then. Yeah, you remember all the weird rules that like people randomly like just they had that didn't make any sense. I don't know. For me, I still remember the first day of COVID. I walked into No, it was probably like a day or two before COVID, like the lockdowns or whatever. But we still didn't have masks. Like nobody had masks.
Right.
But I was walking into a Subway, and the Subway was hot as shit. Like I guess they were just too cheap to run the AC. But like I propped the door open, and they told me, "Oh, you can't prop the door open because of COVID."
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was like just. I had so many like situations where you're just like, what? This is like you're justifying this because of COVID? I don't know. It made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, we had like a one customer policy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Honestly,
yeah.
I really liked that because before COVID, when we'd have more than one customer, they would get so impatient and so like, are you going to talk to me? Or like, they're like fidgeting and not getting violent and aggressive, but just
annoying though. Huh?
Annoying, yeah. And this one customer at a time policy kind of calmed everybody down, so it was kind of nice actually, in that one regard.
Yeah.
But when this first started happening, I think like a day or so after the national emergency was announced, I went to the store and tons of people were there. People were buying like huge amounts of fish and meat and stuff that would spoil.
Oh my god, that's so ridiculous.
Yes, if you remember,
I remember that. Like videos would go viral.
People buying like gallons of milk.
Milk.
Yeah.
But then again, then people were like justifying it. I remember they're like, "Well, you could freeze milk," and I'm like, "All right, I guess."
You can freeze fish and you can freeze meat,
ridiculous.
but I don't know about. Okay, and we are back, everybody. We were just working there.
Yeah, we should probably be working, but we're doing a podcast, so screw that.
Yeah, who cares about work? But yeah, back to the milk thing. When the lockdown first started, that was so strange because I don't know if you went to the store at the time, but there were entire shelves and rows of or aisles that were just empty.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember.
But it was funny what people chose to stock up on. I mean, obviously, like beans and rice, that was a big one.
I hope this country gets made fun of for the next, like, in history books. Like, I hope they just make fun of us forever, bro. Like, literally, I hope that our children's children say, remember those retards that, like, bought all the toilet paper for no reason?
I swear to God, I don't think I bought any toilet paper for, like, I want to honestly say maybe 4 months.
The thing is that there's other ways, bro. There's other ways besides toilet paper.
And it's just like, why was that the first thing and the only thing that you went to?
Yeah, I know. Okay, and then, so after toilet paper, I'm like, the tissue paper's right there, though. Like, right. It accomplishes the same goal. That's literally what I did. I literally went to the tissue aisle. I was like, I'll buy 4 boxes of tissue, which are completely unsold out, you know?
Yep.
There was plenty of them.
All the bleach was gone. Could not find any Clorox bleach at all.
What the fuck are you using that much bleach for?
Oh, dude, you don't know how like insane people are in LA.
People are like bleaching their fucking pantaloons.
I'm sure they're bleaching their faces every morning. No, seriously, like I mean, at the time when I was working, I mean, it's hard to get alcohol so that we could do our job because in repair and in the repair industry, you do need alcohol to remove adhesive.
Not only that, we actually need the 99% isopropyl because that's what keeps the electronics in working condition. Once you start diluting it, the more and more you dilute it, the worse it is for electronics.
Yeah.
Versus for humans, it's perfectly fine to dilute the fucking alcohol because it has almost the same effect if you're just going to use it for, like, let's say, whatever you want to clean, you know?
Exactly. It's probably better because then if you put 99 isopropyl alcohol on your skin, it's just going to burn through it.
Yes, like, we actually, like, repair people actually needed the fucking 99%.
Yeah, that stuff dries out your hands. But yeah, at the time, I mean, even getting toilet paper was tough for the office.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was. My boss had like I think he had like some connections, so he kind of was able to like get some Sam's Club merchandise from some people, or I don't know. I mean, like in LA, if you ever want to move here, I mean, like find a group, find people to be chummy with, and like who you can help out and who want to help out you, because when stuff like this happens, hey, it helps out to have someone who's got stuff that wants to give something to you.
Yeah, I still remember. I don't know when the mask stuff came about, because I felt like the mask stuff really hit us at a super random time, because I still remember 2 days before lockdown I was still working, and I remember that the boss came in and he's like, "Guess what, guys? I got everybody gloves." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Bro, gloves are worth their weight in gold right now." And I'm like,
yeah.
and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like we're all gonna be cleaner."
Dude, hand
But, like,
sanitizer, that was appreciating in value a lot.
yes, yes. And I remember my buddy, my coworker, said he got the hand sanitizer, and he's like, "Oh, I got the hookup for the hand sanitizer." I'm like, "All right, all right." But the funniest part about the whole thing is that no one, like, masks weren't even in the conversation. It was
Right.
literally 100% like wash your hands and clean surfaces and wear gloves. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I remember at
Well,
least.
because at the time, no one really knew how this thing spread. They didn't really.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people theorized it was through the air, which is correct, through aerosols. But yeah, it was like there was such a weird, like, unknown element. Just like, how bad is it? How do you get it? How do you know if you have it? You know, everyone was like hypersensitive about, like, if they felt something. I know I was for a while. Yeah, and I think, and I had to take some time off because I thought I got it. I got tested, and apparently I was negative. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, it was such a crazy time.
Yeah, and then I still remember how shitty my job was back then. So at that time, there was zero announcements about, like, how the government was going to help people. Like, I still remember feeling like, damn, is it all going to, like, crumble like '08? Like, because, in '08, they did very little to help people. Like, very little. So I was like, is it going to be like '08, like, where people are just, like, out of a job?
Yeah, we were
Like,
wondering.
screwed, just not getting zero help from the government, but the government at the same time is telling you not to work.
I know, we were thinking the same thing. We were like, well, if they force everyone to go home, I mean, they know people can't buy anything if they don't make any money. So we were just thinking, what's going to happen? Are they going to... Yeah, and then...
I still remember theorizing with my friends and family and, like, getting so mad because I was like, imagine at that time I was like, this type of government is the government to say, all right, we're going to give everybody loans to get through the pandemic. Like, that's literally how cynical I was about the government at that time. I was like, they're going to make us take loans out or some shit.
I think I've gotten more cynical about the government, but I mean, it would not be too far of a stretch to have that happen. We're back. This is the We Should Probably Be Working Right Now podcast. And we were just talking about the COVID lockdowns when it first started happening. And one thing that I remember when it started happening, you were talking about when the masks came into effect or when the mask policy began. Yeah, it wasn't immediately, but I want to say maybe within a month or so of the initial lockdown is when that came into effect. But I remember the big thing was, like, where do you even get it? Amazon. I mean, it took days to get it.
Do you remember how ridiculous the lockdown even was, though? Because, there was the mask mandates, but it was all over the news that you couldn't get masks anywhere. That they were sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were just like, I can't have a mask unless... I mean, I can't
And
go
the
to a
government
store.
wasn't providing them. So
It made zero sense at all. And I remember I went into a 99-cent store on the first day of the mask mandate, and I filled up my shopping cart with stuff, and the manager walks up to me and is like, "Hey, you have to have a mask." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll buy one. Do you guys have any masks?"
Yeah, I ended up getting mine from a gas station at first.
Oh, yeah?
For some reason, 76 gas stations had masks. Yeah, they had
so
like
random.
packs of 5. I mean, I don't know where they got them, but it was like it wasn't like I don't think it was official, like, through their whole supply chain, because it was like in these like super crinkly cheap plastic bags.
Right.
And they had like a little quickly printed like $5, $10 thing.
I know, and then there was that whole thing where it was like street vendors.
Right, but they were N95s. But yeah,
selling-
the street vendors, I started seeing them after a while. Like, they would just be selling cheap cotton masks on the corner. But yeah, it was like $3 or $5, and I was like, so this is our society now. This is what we're doing. This is how it works. It was cool to see that happen. Like, they were just like, hey, get your masks here. And they weren't saying that because it's not like Boston or New York, but
it's not the 20s.
it's not the 20s either. No. No. Well, I mean, it's the 2020s if you want to.
Oh, you're right. It is the Roaring 20s. You're right.
Yeah, well, the Roaring 20s. Yeah, everyone everyone this year's been talking about the new Roaring 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Economically, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
For sure. So I guess that's early lockdown. Anything else you want to add to that?
Nah, I mean, maybe we should make this a recurring segment. I mean, there's so much to tell about that time.
There is a lot to tell about it. But yeah, let's wrap it up with your last topic that you brought up to me, which was cool sculpting.
Yeah, cool sculpting. So
I don't know. Well, like, you could go ahead and go off on it, but when I was doing my research on it, I couldn't really find a clear answer. So
really,
you go ahead and answer it for me.
Yeah, so cool sculpting is well, it's actually kind of interesting, but it's the process of cryolipolysis, which is basically freezing the skin, which causes the body to burn the fat around that area, or making the fat burn off a lot more easily. Mm-hmm. Basically, the way they advertise it is, hey, do you have some extra... do you have those love handles you can't get rid of, or that stubborn fat that won't go away? We'll just do cool sculpting. Yeah, when I first moved to LA, I would see it on billboards everywhere, and I was like, cool sculpting? Like, what is it? Because they made it just seem like it's that simple. Just freeze the fat away. And I was thinking, like, is it really that simple? And apparently it is.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering if you had like a big like thing to say, like it doesn't work or something like that.
No, to me it was more just annoying than anything, because I was just seeing it everywhere and getting so annoyed by it. Mm-hmm. And one guy at work I knew, he did it. He was like, yeah, like I have stubborn fat. I mean, he was basically just recycling the phrases that he would see.
That's so dumb.
It was more just like, dude, just work out more. Come on.
That's for sure.
And so... It's not cheap either. It's like $4,000 or $5,000.
Are you serious?
It's
bro?
expensive. I mean, obviously it depends where you go, but yeah, it's not cheap. So, and here's the thing. Apparently, where you get the cool sculpting done is numb for up to maybe a month or two.
Wow.
Yeah. So, me personally, I can't think that is healthy in the long term, but I know some people are going to abuse it. They're just going to keep going back, and
that's like the meme right now. That it's like you don't know the long term effects of the vaccine, but you're willing to go do stuff like cool sculpting.
Right, and it's just like it's such an LA thing too. It's like, are you worried about your image? Do you want to look thin and young? Do you care about what people think about you? Are you willing to possibly take out a loan to get this procedure done?
That is very LA.
Yeah, and people want it. And the guy I knew who did it, like, you know, he was leasing a car. I'm sure he was spending all his money just to do it to look good. But
wow. Yeah,
I was just like, why would you do that? And I think they really do kind of advertise it, so they're targeting like probably older women who want to look young, or just people who are really obsessed with their image.
That is the target demo.
Yeah, and in LA, hey, that's big business
for sure. And yeah, those type of guys that like are like leasing a brand new car or whatever, like, yeah,
an expensive car too, by the way.
Yeah, super obsessed with image. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm always the type that has to live below his means, just so you want to build towards something, you know? Like I see like people who are like, damn, they got like the newest car, but like what you don't know is that like
I used to feel mad jealous about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could have that car. I probably could have, but I would have been like spending all my money.
That's what I'm saying, is that we could all have it, but we're over here making the responsible financial decision.
And even still, it's hard to live in LA.
Yeah, no, I know. It's horrible. But yeah, like, and also what you find out about a lot of these young guys is like, oh, they still live with their parents. Like, obviously, they could afford to buy. Like, they spend $500-$600 a month on their car because they don't pay any money in rent to their parents.
Yeah, they can afford. Yeah, like people I know who like travel around. It's like, how do you afford to take? I would think of that same thing. Like, how do you afford to take a month off of work and go to Europe for something? Because they live at home.
Yeah, and I mean, some people are afforded that opportunity. That
me personally, I could not live with my parents again. I don't know about you.
Why did you move out
of my parents' home?
Yeah. Well, you're a little older than me too, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'd been living on my own for a while, and then like I moved to Southern California. I think I lived with my parents for like a couple months, like maybe 3 months at the most. Because they're like, hey, well, if you're going to move down here, you know, here's a place to stay. You can get a job.
What age did you move out at, though?
Of my parents' house initially?
Yeah.
I want to say, like, 22 maybe 22 or 23. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
Because I had gone away to school, came back, and then like I think after about a year of living with them, I was like, oh, I'll get my own place.
Yeah, you're similar to me then.
Yeah.
I pretty much did the exact same thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I couldn't stand being back with them for like 3 months. So when I was out of there, I was like, oh, thank God.
Dude, I felt the exact same way.
Yeah.
I lived with my mom, and I was like, that's ridiculous. I was way too old. Well, like, not way too old. Like, technically, I'm at the right age, but, like, just the fact that she was, you have to pay the rent and your mental health. That's what they always say. Like, I'm like, no, I couldn't do it. Also, not only that, she was charging me real rent.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, so she was, like, charging me rent to live there. Not only that, to, like, pay with my mental health and pay with my money. At that point, I was like, fuck that, I'll just pay. Even though, like, technically it wasn't a lot of money, I was like, whatever, I'll just pay more money to just live somewhere else by myself.
Yeah, because it just the benefits outweigh the cost at that point. Plus, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
And I like not having to live by my parents' schedule or whatever they want to do or be under their roof. I like being under my own roof.
Sometimes it would just feel amazing to be here because you just think into your head, like, on your day off, like, you really get to decide, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and for a long time, I feel like for a long time, a lot of people probably just do nothing, which is what I usually do, especially now since COVID.
Oh, because, yeah, COVID fucked everybody
up. But no, I know what you mean. Like, I had a great moment of pride yesterday. So when I moved into my current place, I moved in as a couple people were moving out, so we had no furniture. And slowly over the last few months, like, I had an old TV, we got a rug, got a couch, and so I got a couch, I got a TV, and whereas before for like the last 4 or 5 months, I'd go home and say, okay, here I am in my empty apartment. I sat on the rug yesterday and I was like, I'm laying in front of my TV and my couch right now instead of just laying in an empty room. I just thought, yeah, I made progress. My life is different now.
Yeah, I mean...
And I did it.
That's how I felt. I mean, I feel like once you get a girlfriend or a wife, like, a lot of things start to change. Because for me, my room was like a barren wasteland before my wife came. I literally... Now I have... Like, imagine... Oh, it's so embarrassing. But I literally slept on a mattress on the floor. For
no
years.
Shame in that.
For
years?
For years, bro. And... Not until my wife, like, civilized me, I finally got a bed frame, a mattress, like, nice sheets, nice everything.
Wow.
How's
it to live in luxury now?
No, like, I know. It's so crazy because, yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. Because of so many years of just living, like, me not giving a shit.
Yeah, when I first moved into my current place, I had to get rid of my old mattress because I couldn't move it in time. So I think I was sleeping on like a bunch of pillows and cushions, and I had the worst fucking back pain and side pain. And I was doing this for like, I think close to 3 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, I need a fucking mattress. So I shelled out the money, which I didn't have much of at the time, but whoa, man, I slept so great. Like once I got a mattress, it was like people don't sleep on the floor if you can help it.
I know. I mean, I never even thought about it too. For me, I was like such a dummy because I moved out when I was 20, so I lived here from 20 to 23 or 24 without a mattress. Oh, no, I'm sorry, without a bed frame or anything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I just got used to it. And it's funny because I would actually take girls into the room.
And what would that's always my my fears. If they'll start judging me based on my decor.
And I wonder too because I'm like, I wonder if a girl would have like slept with me because there was some girls that would like, we would be like hooking up in the living room.
Yeah.
And like,
and you'd move to the bedroom, and they'd be like, "Can we go back to the living room?"
No, and then like just things wouldn't they wouldn't be down to do anything, and I wonder if it was the bed frame.
Yeah, girls have this. I don't know if it's like standard, but
they have standards.
Girls have standards. They have like comfort standards, and girls, they're good at making things comfortable and really nice.
That is true.
Like I'll give it to them. Like I think, I don't have a wife, but if I have one around, I just know if I live with her, she's like, I'm probably gonna enjoy the comfortable things that she brings into it.
Definitely, because yeah,
my mom, like if I lived alone with my dad when I was growing up, the house would probably be barren and very scant. But
yes.
my mom is like, she's focusing on the thread counts. She likes matching pillowcases, just things that make the overall environment nice and friendly and comfortable and better.
And people always make fun of that, but like as men, we only need the basics. Like we don't need shit. Like we literally just need. If we could, I guess we would just like sit in a lawn chair in the living room in front of a TV.
Right. When I was younger, I thought I was different from most men, but like I'm slowly becoming more like that. Just like, yeah, I don't need much.
Yeah, I just don't need much.
Yeah, but I do like nice things. It's just like it's not in the forefront, I guess.
True. Oh yeah, but going back to the point, I was gonna ask you what you thought about BBLs, because the cool sculpting is interesting, but like BBLs is the hot topic right now.
Okay, you're gonna have to inform me. What is BBL?
Man,
what are BBLs?
Don't tell me I have to educate you on a BBL.
You might have to. Should I Google it, or would you like to tell me?
Yeah, no, do both.
Okay.
I'll tell you and Google it. So
it's not some dirty thing, is it?
Not necessarily dirty, but it is a cosmetic procedure that women do to look better.
Oh. Oh wait, where's the
So it's called.
Oh, that's what they call it.
Yeah, it's called a Brazilian butt lift, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a procedure where they pretty much take out all the fat out of your stomach area, and they put it in your butt. So, like, it's actually like a great idea, right?
Yeah,
Because
I've seen Brazilians. I mean, I don't know if it seems like all of them are doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I think Brazilian women probably already have that natural body, but like there is definitely a lot of like cosmetic procedures going on these days. It made me laugh because I was at the bar or club like one time, not that long ago with one of my friends, and I would see like what do they call those girls? The bottle girls.
The bottle girls.
Yeah, they call them bottle girls.
Yeah.
And it was making me laugh so much because I was like, that surgeon did wonders on her. Like I kept making that joke because this girl had a ass that was like so obviously fake that it was like, come on, like you're not fooling any. It's funny because women at the same time they're not fooling anybody, but at the same time it's attractive to like.
Well, there are guys who really like that who will be like, "Ooh, look at that! Oh yeah."
It's funny because
who absolutely buy it 100%.
I definitely think I'm one of the guys that is not against it. Like I like it. It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's definitely hot. But at the same time, you're like, but it's fake.
Yeah, I like natural for sure.
Yeah.
Like even with makeup, I'm like, nah, not too much. Prefer women without it. But you know what I do like? I've appreciated more is a girl who's in shape.
Yeah, no, a girl's in great shape.
Yeah, girls.
You're kidding me? That's number one.
I know, but I appreciate it more. Like I think about like the butt thing. I think an in shape butt versus just one that's fat.
Oh.
I think I prefer. I'm not saying.
I prefer strong booties.
I think I do. I'm not saying I think both are great.
Uh-huh.
But I think if I were to choose one between one that's obviously fake and one that's like, well,
small and
yeah, even small.
Like you prefer a small one, but like it's like firm and it's like strong. It's like
do,
muscle
yeah.
versus like a big fake one.
Yeah, exactly. And girls don't have to be anorexic.
I disagree though. I would probably prefer a big fake one.
I thought you were saying girls should be anorexic.
Oh. No, I would want to play with a big fake one just to see what it's like, because I've never played in my whole life. Just because I've only dated girls like my age or younger, and like girls my age or younger aren't really doing that. I would say women in their late 20s are doing it more.
Okay, I've never
like after a kid. Like women are like specifically BBLs. Like it's after a kid. I feel like.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Having a kid probably does stuff to your body that we can't even imagine. But
it's so funny. You go out to these bars or clubs, and it's always like the girl who thinks she's the shit or like got hired purely because of her looks is like the bottle girl, or like the girl who's like a bartender, blah blah blah. And I still remember like everything's fake about these girls, bro. Like everything's fake.
Yeah,
like,
welcome to Los Angeles.
No, I know, and it's so ridiculous because like I went to the bar with my friend. he goes like this. He's like, no, I'm sorry, not him. I walk up and the girl next to me goes, "Oh my God, isn't the bartender so pretty?" And I look at her and I'm like, I'm gonna be polite, so I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, she's pretty, whatever." But in my head, and I told all my buddies, I'm like, "Are you guys joking? She literally has a nose job, obviously.
Oh wow!
And she has her nose done. Her lips are done, so she has like that big, like pouty lips, like Kim Kardashian, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And her face is caked with makeup.
Ugh.
Literally a cake of makeup, bro.
I think some people only see things in cumulative, like the more you add on, the better it is, kind of thing. But they don't look at like, does it look good?
I know. And then like my buddies were like, "Oh, but she's still hot though," and I'm like, I don't know. I guess that's not my taste.
I'm with you on that one because, I've definitely been in that situation before where, especially, you just kind of think like why is everyone else viewing this thing completely differently from me?
Yeah, because I mean, and it also sends out like a certain like signal to people that it's like they spent money on their beauty, right?
Yeah.
And I always feel like those women tend to be like the most what would you call them, like
vain?
Unpleasant, vain, and like unpleasant people to be around. Like it's usually those like airhead, like gold digger type of humans.
Yeah, I think it could just be an intelligence thing. It could just be like maybe not even that. I mean, I'll say like a lot of people live in like their own bubble world. So I mean, she might be part of a world where like she looks down on us or anyone else who isn't like her, and she probably thinks she's the shit.
For sure.
She's from that world where that's I guess encouraged.
Yeah, but a BBL. Oh, and then like the other funny thing about BBLs is that you go online and you see all these like hot Instagram models, and what they don't tell you, and like the word on the street for like years has been that all these Instagram models are getting surgeries. And they're putting out this unrealistic expectations towards people and women, and that's why so many people have like body dysmorphia and are like upset with their body. I'm not even saying that in the feminist sense, like, oh man, like body positivity. I'm saying like they're unrealistic. Like they're selling people like they're like telling you like, oh, if you just work out enough, you'll get this body, but that body's not achievable unless you get surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. And not only that, but like social media now. I mean, it's not 1970 or 80 or 90 anymore. I mean, this stuff is around constantly. So I mean, people are seeing this. They're seeing social media almost 24/7.
Social media is so toxic, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's so toxic. I hate Instagram. I've hated it for years.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't taken an Instagram photo in forever.
You know what I like a lot, though? TikTok.
Yeah, you do? That's one thing I never got into, just because, like, when Vine came out, I didn't have a phone that was good enough to, like, I had a shitty phone at the time, and then it went away, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's gone. And TikTok came back, and I was like, I don't know if I have to get on this train again.
Yeah, no, TikTok is cool. I know that the videos are way too addicting, so I try and watch as little as possible. But I like creating videos, so hopefully a more creative side of videos.
I do watch a lot of TikTok videos on YouTube, though. They show up in my feed. They're just like these 5-second things. And yeah, man, they are addicting. 100%.
My wife spends like hours on it sometimes, so yeah, it's definitely addicting. But I feel like it's easy to blow up on there, so hopefully we'll post some stuff on there and we'll also get some attention.
Yeah, hopefully. All you people listening, go visit our TikTok.
Yeah, for real.
Use multiple devices so that our numbers go up. We appreciate it. I don't care if it's fake. I only care about the numbers.
All right, man. So I guess that's you want to wrap it up here?
Well, I don't have anything else really to add on that. Cool sculpting. Right. Hey, do it if you want. Do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, you only have one life. You only have so much money in your bank account. Why not use it?
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If anybody ever listens to the end of a podcast, thank you guys so much. We'll be here next week, hopefully. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Back to work.